I've been installing security cameras in one form or another since 2001. In all of that time, I've done a ton of wired security camera systems and a ton of Wi-Fi security camera systems. Now, when it comes to the Wi-Fi side, from 2017 to 2021, if you would have said, George, what is your favorite Wi-Fi security camera? Without question, I would have said the Nest IQ series, both the indoor camera and the outdoor camera. You could professionally install them. They were very well made. They had a ton of great features. I just love those cameras. Specifically the outdoor model, I installed a ton of them. But then Google bought Nest and it all went downhill. But I wanted to give them a chance. And in 2021, Google Nest came out with some new cameras. They had an indoor-outdoor battery model, an indoor camera, and a video doorbell. And I was excited to try them. I did some videos on them. It was all great at first. But it very soon after went to crap, and I had to stop installing them. It just became a mess. And I've grown very tired of those cameras. So now, here we are in 2025, and Google Nest just came out with some new cameras. And today, that's what we're talking about. Specifically, their new outdoor wired camera and their video doorbell. Do they live up to the Nest IQ's old glory? Let's find out. What up everybody, George Langabeer here. Today we're talking about two new cameras from Google Nest. We've got the wired outdoor camera, which you can also use indoors, and we've got their new video doorbell. In my opinion, this update is long overdue as their predecessor came out in 2021, and I find that those cameras have become extremely outdated. So, do these cameras give us the refresh that we needed? Do they come even close to the Nest IQ, which used to be my favorite Wi-Fi camera for years? Let's talk all about that. I'm gonna unbox the cameras. I'm gonna talk price and specs. I'm gonna talk a little bit about using them with Google Home. I'm gonna give you my full review, pros and cons. Now, I bought these cameras with my own money. They have nothing to do with Google Nest. This is not sponsored. They were not sent to me. None of that crap. It doesn't really matter anyway, because I'm always gonna tell you like it is. So yeah, this is gonna be an honest, straightforward review as always. Let's get started with the unboxing. All right, let's start by unboxing the Google Nest Cam Outdoor Wired. You can see that it's got Google Gemini, that it's 2K, it has HDR and 152-degree field of view. We've got the camera itself with the setup QR code on it. You're gonna wanna remove that. Now this is a magnet mount camera. So you've got the camera, the magnet mount, and then the install base, which just twists off. You've got this proprietary cable. Now, once it's plugged into the other side, that is 18 feet long. And here you go, here's the other half. You're gonna plug that in, and then you're gonna plug the other end into a power outlet. So you're gonna need power within 18 feet of this camera. You've got your mounting hardware, you've got some clips to manage the cable, some anchors for those clips, and screws for those clips. You got some documentation, and that's it. Moving on to the Nest Doorbell Wired 3rd Gen. This is a 2K camera, again with Google Gemini. Because this is a wired camera, they were able to make it pretty small, so I like that. You've got your terminals for your doorbell wiring on the back, and on the front you've got your button and your lens, obviously. Your documentation, nice little window decal. Then you've got your wedge. This would go on your actual mounting plate, and that will give you a little angle to your doorbell if you want. And here's that actual mounting plate. You'll use that whether you use the wedge or not. You've got some little tails if you want to connect that to the doorbell and then connect it to your doorbell wiring. Might help with your installation. You've got your mounting screws. And you've got your little wrench. That's for the security screw on the doorbell. They put that on there so you can't just easily steal it. All right, this is your chime connector. You will need that. If you use your doorbell wiring and you want your interior chime to work, you need to attach that to your chime inside. But all right, there we go. All right, now that we've unboxed, let's talk about setup and installation, and let's start with the wired outdoor camera. Now, compared to the previous model, which was a battery camera, with that camera, you could just set it up with your Wi-Fi, then go out and put it on the magnet mount, and you were done if you were using the battery. Or you could buy an optional power cable and then plug that into a power supply, or a power outlet, I should say, somewhere near the camera. With this camera, it's different. It is wired only. It has a proprietary cable. You're not switching it out because it is attached to the camera. There is another proprietary connection in the middle of this cable, which is 18 feet total. So you're going to plug this camera somewhere within 18 feet of the camera. Now, I would advise setting it up inside first. So plug it into a power outlet, set it up with the Google Home app. The Google Home app walks you through it step by step. But if you do it somewhere near your router, then you've got a strong Wi-Fi connection from the get-go. And then if you go put it outside, hopefully it maintains that strong connection. There's just a couple screws for the base. Now, what I do like about this camera is instead of, you are going to see the wire for a few inches, but there's a way to stick it into the base, and then the camera is going to cover the hole that you drill for that power cable. Whereas the previous model, it was tricky to not have another hole where that power cable is going through, and that could be ugly. So I do like that they fixed that problem in the way they designed this. I do not like that you're still seeing a cable for a few inches. But again, couple screws, you're going to power the camera, and you're good to go. So it's pretty easy to install, but just keep in mind, I would set it up inside first. Moving on to the video doorbell. Now this is a wired video doorbell, so wired only. There's no USB-C connector for charging a battery or anything like that. It's just got the terminals to wire it. You're either going to use your existing doorbell wiring, or you can get a transformer that has the right voltage to use those terminals and then plug it into a power outlet somewhere near the doorbell. Now Google does sell one of those on the Google store on the website. So if you want to check that out, you can. That's just a second option, but I would recommend using this with your doorbell wiring if you can. Couple things to keep in mind, because it doesn't have that USB-C connector, which I liked on the battery model, because then you could still just wire that camera. But the nice thing about that is you could set it up inside near your router, like I was talking about with the outdoor camera. This one, you can't do that unless you use that transformer I'm talking about. If you're using your doorbell wiring, you've got to set it up out where your doorbell goes. So the Google Home app is how you're going to do that. It does walk you through it step by step, but just keep those things in mind. It is wired. You can use your doorbell wiring, or you can get that optional transformer. All right, let's talk price and specs, and let's start with the Nest Cam Outdoor, which is the wired camera. This camera is normally $149.99. At the time of this recording, it's on sale for $119.99. Look in the description of this video for an affiliate link. If you're interested in purchasing, you can also check the current price. This camera has 2K resolution, up to 30 frames per second, and it does use HDR. It has 152 degrees field of view and a 6x digital zoom. It has night vision with HDR, and that's illumination up to 20 feet. And I'm going to do a little night vision demo here, and I'm going to do it two different ways. I'm going to close my privacy shades, and when I do that, it gets very dark in here, like pitch black. So you can see me in here, pitch black. I've got this license plate here so you can see the detail as I walk to and from the camera. Now this is IR, this isn't color night vision when it's pitch black like this. And then the other demo I want to show you is if I open my privacy shades, and then I've got the city lights outside, and this camera is capable with color night vision in low light, meaning it does have some sort of ambient light like this, so you can see the details as far as distance goes. This camera does require using it with the Google Home app. It comes in snow, which is the whitish color that I'm using. It also comes in hazel. It has enhanced security features using Google's Gemini. It also has some cool AI features using Google Gemini, like advanced search and advanced alerts. So when you're searching, you can search things like the color of a person's clothing. And also when you get alerts, it'll tell me person with a blue shirt walks by, or a person doing this walks by. It's pretty cool. It also gives you a daily summary, which is a recap of everything the camera saw. And that recap is very detailed thanks to that AI from Google's Gemini. And as far as alerts go, you can also be alerted for people, vehicles, and animals. And like I just said, with Google Gemini, those alerts are very advanced. You can set up activity zones with this camera. And then as far as recording, out of the box, you can get up to 6 hours of event previews. But if you pay for Google Home's premium subscription, which is a monthly or yearly fee, then you can get up to 10 days at 24/7 recording and up to 60 days of event recording on top of that. This camera has two-way audio. I could hear very well through the camera. And then as far as the speaker goes, let me give you a little demo. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. I'm outside on the street. Got a bunch of construction noise, street noise. How do I sound? How do I sound? Testing. This is dual band, so you can use your 2.4 gigahertz and your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi bands. It has an IP65 weather rating, which is rated -4 degrees Fahrenheit up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And it does have that 18-foot proprietary cable, and that cable is weatherproof. Moving on to the Nest Doorbell Wired 3rd generation. The doorbell is $179.99, and it comes in snow, hazel, or linen as far as colors. It also has the enhanced security features using Google Gemini. It has 2K HDR resolution up to 30 frames per second. It has 166 degrees diagonal view at a 1:1 aspect ratio. It's got a 6x digital zoom, and just like the wired camera, it uses Google Gemini to give you that advanced AI search and that advanced AI daily summary. And also, just like that wired camera, you can use the Google Home app to set up different automations which involve the doorbell. It has person, vehicle, and animal detection, just like the wired camera, but because it's a doorbell, it also adds package detection. And just like the wired camera, it requires using it with the Google Home app. You can access the feed of your doorbell on a Google TV streamer, a Pixel tablet, or a Nest display. And Google says that this doorbell has fortress-level security and privacy. And I didn't mention this on that other camera, but I should have. Both of these cameras have a green light indicator for privacy purposes, so you know when the cameras are being used. It has the same premium Google Home subscription as the wired camera. And if you don't pay for that Google Home subscription, just like the wired camera, it gives you 6 hours of event previews right out of the box. It must be connected to either your doorbell wiring or a power supply, like I mentioned, and there is one available in the Google Home store, and that is 16 to 24 VAC as far as voltage. And again, I want to mention, if you use your doorbell wiring and the included chime connector, your indoor chime will work. But if you use one of those power supplies that you plug into the wall, your indoor chime will not work. It has two-way audio, and again, I could hear through this camera very well, and I'm going to give you a little demo of the speaker as far as talking back through it.
Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Out on the street, bunch of street noise, construction noise. How do I sound? How is the clarity? Can you hear me? Testing, testing, testing.
It has 10 feet of night vision, and Google says that it'll give you color night vision in low light. I was not able to get color like I was with the wired camera, but that's just me. Maybe in your application, you'd be able to get that color night vision in low light. The doorbell is also dual band using 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz as far as Wi-Fi goes. And it also has an IP65 weather rating, which is rated -4 degrees up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, now let's talk about using these cameras with the Google Home app. You can see my camera home screen here. Got the wired camera up above, video doorbell down below. You can really see the difference in that aspect ratio for the video doorbell here. But let's go to the wired camera. You can see that I'm live. You can see that I'm on today. If I hit those triangle lines there, I can narrow down what I'm looking for. Unfamiliar face, familiar face, person, garage door, vehicle, activity or animals, motion, CO alarm, or smoke alarm. If I hit that search, I can use Google Gemini to do different things for my smart home, but all sorts of different things here with that search. That icon on the right, I can change my view of my scroll. I've got a more simple view or a more detailed view. And with that detailed view, you can really see Gemini at work here. Person stands at podium holding phone. Person stands at podium holding a phone and gesturing. It really gets specific. Person stands at podium. Just a person. I adjust the phone on the tripod. SUV and person walks by, vehicles drive by. It's very specific and very advanced, and I find that it's flawless in what it's seeing. So that's pretty cool. You can also see down below, if I hit the microphone, I could talk through the camera. All right, let's get out of that and let's go to the lines up above, which is the main settings. Here you've got your notifications, you've got your events, familiar faces, so it does have facial recognition. You've got video history, so that's whether or not you're paying for Google Home Premium. It'll tell you what you've got there. Your bandwidth usage, your night vision. You can switch between always on, auto, which defaults to low light color, or you can turn it off. You got your status light brightness. That's the green little icon on the camera. You can rotate your image if you have to install it upside down for some reason. You've got your audio settings and device information. You can delete your video history if you want to get rid of what it recorded. You can also remove the device. And then if we switch to the video doorbell, it's basically the same thing. You can see the events down below, all the same icons. Same thing with the settings, but you do have the doorbell theme here. So that's the noise it makes when it rings. You got your visitor announcement. You can turn that on and off. If you turn it on and you've got a Google display, it'll announce the person at the door. You've got your spoken language, your chime, So again, if you've got it wired to your doorbell wiring, you would have that here. Notifications, events, you can change that. Scene events, you've got activity zones, unfamiliar face detection, Gemini for home camera features, so you can toggle that on and off. And by the way, this is the same for the previous camera, I just didn't click on this. You've got your event history, you can toggle on and off people, your notifications. In this one, you've got your package notification, again, because it's a doorbell. Toggle on and off animals, toggle on and off vehicles, toggle on and off motion. Again, that's your events. Again, you've got your familiar faces. Let's just click on that this time. You can turn that on and off for each camera. You could also see your faces here if you had any. Got your video history, your bandwidth usage, your night vision, and again, same settings, always on, auto on, low light color, even though I could never get that to work, and off, status light brightness, and audio and device information. That's the basics of using these two cameras with the Google Home app. Okay, now let's talk my review. Pros and cons. What do I think of these two cameras? And I'm going to be talking about both of them here. Number one, compared to the previous generation, which was 1080p, we've increased to 2K resolution, and that's awesome. So that's a definite pro. I think the prices are reasonable for both cameras, especially the wired camera being on sale for $119.99 right now. That's awesome and a definite pro. The field of view of these two cameras are both a pro and a con. As far as the pro, it's great that we have 152 degrees on the wired camera and 166 degrees on the doorbell, but I'll talk about why they're cons in a second. The biggest pro of all, and the star of the show, is Google Gemini. It is really, really cool with these cameras. It almost makes me want to switch to Google's new smart speakers when it comes out, get rid of my HomePods. I don't think I'll go that far, but it's almost got me there. The detection and the alerts are so specific and so useful, and the daily information, the daily recap, so specific and so useful. I really like it, and I'm very impressed. And the doorbell is small and narrow. Because it's a wired video doorbell, they were able to make it smaller, so it's going to fit in more spots. That's a pro. Lastly, the Google Home Premium subscription is a pro in the fact what you're getting out of it. You're getting 10 days of 24/7 recording, up to 60 days of event recording, and those very specific events and detection and all that stuff with Google Gemini. So it's a pro in that regard. That takes us to the cons. And again, I'm talking about Google Gemini. I don't know if I like the fact that how reliant we have to be on that monthly or yearly fee, because up to 6 hours of event previews is nothing. I like the cameras that give you the options of SD cards or these premium subscriptions instead of just 6 hours of previews. That's lame. So it's forcing you to get Google Home Premium, and I think that's a con. The night vision on these cameras are The wired camera is all right, and it's actually better than what I think the specs say, but the specs on paper, that's pretty lame. For your main camera on the outside of your house, you're gonna want more than a few feet of night vision. Come on. And the color night vision in low light is cool, but you're really relying on the IR here, and there's so many color night vision options out there. And I could never get the color night vision to work on the doorbell, because it too is supposed to have color night vision in low light. Same circumstances, same conditions as the wired camera, but it never worked. So I'm gonna call the night vision on these cameras a con. Now, I talked about the field of view on both these cameras being a pro, where I think it's the con. If you've ever talked to me on the phone about security cameras, you know that I hate the fisheye effect. And both these cameras have the fisheye effect. The 152 degrees on the wired camera looks a little funky, looks a little circular, and the video doorbell. It gets you a lot as far as looking down for packages and all that stuff, but I'm just not a fan of the fisheye effects, so I'm calling it a con. They've improved the design of the wired camera a little bit since that battery camera, which was just the magnet mount. You still have a magnet mount here, which means this camera is very easy to steal. Now, I haven't been able to confirm whether or not they will replace it with a police report like the last camera, because that last camera, if you had a police report, they'd replace the camera for you. I've been waiting to hear back. I never got word, so I'm sorry I can't confirm that with you. But again, this camera is very easy to steal. So you're gonna wanna put it out of reach. And if you put it out of reach, you're gonna really be pressing that night vision, like I said. Speaking of the design of the wired camera, I don't like that it's a proprietary cable. I wish it was a USB-C cable so it was more universal. That way you could change the length and work with it a little bit more. This is very proprietary. You're stuck within 18 feet to get to a power outlet, and I don't like that, so I'm calling it a con. Also, speaking of the design, it's great that they changed it a little bit to where you can hide the additional hole for your cable as far as where you install the camera, but you're still going to see that cable for a few inches. At the beginning of this video, I was talking about the Nest IQ. That camera was almost like a professional grade wired camera where you could actually completely hide the cable behind the camera because it plugged into a USB-C port on the bottom and it just looked nice and clean. This one, you still got a little wire showing, and I think that looks tacky, so I'm calling it a con. Both cameras have decent microphones, but as far as the speakers, and you know this is a sticking point for me, I could never once talk through this camera without it getting really choppy. And I say camera, but I'm actually meaning both cameras. Not as big a deal on the wired camera, even though I still think it's a big deal, but a huge deal on the video doorbell where you're gonna be talking through it all the time to people. So they need to fix that. I don't know if it's just my circumstances, but I'm testing a lot of different cameras and I don't have issues here. So I don't know, but it's definitely a con. Now for me, this might be a nitpicky con, but there are so many cameras out there right now, pretty much every other camera I'm testing that has the active deterrent features, which is a strobe or a siren, or you can really scare somebody with these types of active deterrent features. This wired camera doesn't have it. And nowadays in 2025, I think you should. So I call that a con. Now, again, this is another nitpicky thing on my part, but I really liked their battery video doorbell because you could still wire it, but it was nice because it was a battery camera, it had a USB-C port on it, which made it very easy to just plug in and set that camera up near your router to give you that nice strong connection from the get-go. Because this only has those terminals, unless you're using one of those optional transformers where you could plug that in anywhere, you really need to rely on your Wi-Fi signal wherever your doorbell is, and sometimes that can be a real pain in the ass when you're installing a video doorbell. So I wish it had a USB-C connector. I call it a con. All right, there you go. That's my review of the Nest Cam Outdoor Wired and the Nest Video Doorbell Wired 3rd Gen. What do you think? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's go back to the beginning of the video. Let's compare the wired camera to the Nest IQ. 2017 or not, I'm still a bigger fan of that camera. I will give them the nod now for the Google Gemini features because that was not even close to available in 2017. So yes, as far as that goes, this is a huge upgrade. But in every other way, shape, or form, I'd take that camera from 2017. Higher quality build, better design as far as installing it, had a 4K zoom, just loaded with specs. And even though it's almost 10 years old, I still like it more. Now, Google Gemini, for you that are in the Nest ecosystem and you've got the last cameras and do you want to upgrade? Heck yes. That alone makes it worth it. The spec upgrade on the resolution makes it worth it. Night vision, I mean, it's about the same across the board. But because of what I just said, I would upgrade. But 2017 might be living in the past or not. I miss that camera and I always will. The doorbell. Not that much more impressive than the last generations. I like that it's small. Again, the Google Gemini features are amazing. The spec upgrade on the resolution of 2K is cool. But otherwise, I can tell you that of these two cameras, it's the last time I'll be using them. I've switched to Google Nest in the past when I got excited. It's not happening this time. But what are your thoughts? Are you in this ecosystem? Are you upgrading? Have you already? What do you think? Have you tried these Google Gemini features? Because no matter what, that is freaking cool. And I can't wait for the future in that regard. But I'd love to know your thoughts. I very much appreciate you being here and your support over the years and helping me grow this channel. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep coming back for more. And until the next video, peace and love, my friends.